How about if we begin, folks? Welcome to Mercy Focus on Haiti's 10th anniversary. I'm Kathy Thornton, a Sister of Mercy, and very proud to be the Executive Director of Mercy Focus on Haiti. I want to thank each of you for joining us this evening. Some of you are new to Mercy Focus on Haiti, but most of you have been with us for these 10 years, so it's a celebration of you as well. It's because of you, our friends, and our donors that Mercy Focus on Haiti has made it this far. Thank you for your companionship and your generosity. Anniversaries are pretty fun times, remembering how we got to where we are, where we came from.
Saying hello to everybody. It's not you.
Who we traveled with, remembering our roots, and storytelling. And that's what we will be doing tonight, is storytelling. Tonight, we remember the women of Mercy, inspired and challenged by a community chapter meeting in 2011. And for those of you who don't know, a chapter meeting for sisters is the most significant meeting of the organization and happens for us only every 6 years. So what comes from it is very important. Tonight, listen to how we grew into a larger group of people, gifted, competent people with all sorts of talents, perfect for a startup group. A group of people who also shared a common concern for our brothers and sisters in Haiti. Listen for clues as to how Mercy Focus on Haiti is growing into an intercultural community organization, partnering with the Religious of Jesus and Mary and local leadership in Haiti to listen and learn and allow a vision to emerge. A vision to do all we can do together with the communities most in need in Gros Morne. This gradual discovery of one another, the listening, growing understanding of new possibilities, having 2 members of Mercy Focus on Haiti stationed in Gros Morne, meshing the Haitian and North American ways of accomplishing things, priorities emerging, and shared blessings received. All of this guided us to a path of collaborating as a way to carry on the mission of Mercy Focus on Haiti in Gros Morne. It's been a great journey. Happy anniversary, Mercy Focus on Haiti, and all of you here. One of the many treasures that we discovered on our journey is Alexandria Fifia, better known as Alex. Alex is our eyes and ears in Haiti, supporting the staff and projects that have been developed and implemented over the past years. Alex joins me tonight in hosting this anniversary.
Happy 10th anniversary, Mercy Focus on Haiti. Thank you everybody for joining this event. I am very excited. Sister Kathy already said my name. If you have just tuned in, I am Alexandra Fifie, better known as Alex. It is a great honor to be a member of the Governing Council and the in-country liaison. It was a fun experience to interview many people that you will see in the videos. They were all open to answer my questions. I have learned a lot from them. They show their appreciation for Mercy Focus on Haiti, tell how we inspire others, and admit the impact of our programs in our lives as well. That experience makes me feel more that we've been doing a wonderful job. Throughout the celebration tonight, you will learn a few Haitian proverbs. The first one that comes in mind is bon Dieu bon, which means God is good.
It's a good way to start, proclaiming God is good. But before we go into the rest of the evening, Alex, would you share a little bit about the current situation in Haiti?
Sure. Mother Haiti is a beautiful little place. And sadly, she has been facing so much problems for more than 3 decades. After the recent assassination of the Haitian president, Haiti was hit by an earthquake of magnitude 7.2 and a bad tropical storm. There were about 2,200 people who died. 12,260 people were injured. 800,000 people have been affected, and many thousand of them became homeless.
Thanks, Alex. As like almost every day now, our hearts ache for their suffering. And as we come together tonight, we hold them in our hearts and in our prayers. It is our custom in Mercy Focus on Haiti to have prayer before our meetings. So we will do that for this anniversary celebration as well. Listen carefully to our prayer in Creole. Here we are in Haiti. We made it. Let the stories begin. First of all, we'll listen to the words of our founders and follow their dreams to create a life-generating response to the chapter challenge. Entering into relationships with the Religious of Jesus and Mary, Sister Jackie Picard and Sister Pat Dillon, and how we benefited and continue to benefit from their wisdom born of service.
I remember I was a delegate at the 2011 chapter where the chapter declaration was framed. And I think all of us had the feeling that this declaration was really calling us to think about what we were doing with our lives, especially the language about reaching out financially and personally to unmet needs in solidarity with impoverished people. So when I saw the little sign on the bulletin board saying, if you want to talk about Haiti, you know, meet at the back table in the dining room or something like that, I was happy to go.
So basically we gathered, probably about 30 people came to a lunch table and talked about, you know, what would it be like? And we were very much influenced by the conversation at the chapter to really reflect more deeply on what are the most unmet needs in our world, and where can we do more to have integrity in word and deed, and how can we look at some new models of ministry.
And Focus on Haiti was just, to me, it was one of the earliest, you might say, expressions of that deepest desire within our chapter body to respond in mercy in new and creative ways to some of the most impoverished peoples.
Initially, I was one of those first sisters who went around Haiti. We looked at different sites. We decided that we didn't want to build a building or create a new ministry. We decided that we wanted to partner with people who were already there, who were doing the work, who maybe needed some help and or some money. So we did that. We actually decided on a site in the village of Gros Morne, which is a very mountainous region. We were going to work with two religious sisters of Jesus and Mary, and they were established.
I would like to say that our working with Mercy Focus on Haiti has for me truly been a partnership and collaboration. And I would also say a gift and blessing. Each community brought its experience and expertise, knowledge and wisdom to these projects we share in Haiti.
Mercy Focus on Haiti became a ministry that the whole institute could hold. It wasn't a particular former region or former community, and there was interest from all around the institute for it. So helping to build that oneness as we're on this journey of oneness, Mercy Focus on Haiti was a real model of ministry going forward.
The founders were strong women, knew what they wanted, and searched to find the right fit.
Haiti is a country that has many partners, agencies and missionaries who came to support our life and needs. We are grateful, but even more grateful when the giving and receiving are one. Let's see what came from those early meetings.
from the time we went in, I was one of the group of people that went in January of 2012. And really from that time, so many things touched me then, but I think it was the homeless residents that at the time was named Kaipov, which means poorhouse. It has since been renamed to its original name of Maison Bon Samaritain, which is House of the Good Samaritan. But from the very first time that we went there, it, above all of our programs, touched my heart most deeply. It's comprised of homeless residents, most of whom are elderly and have additional physical challenges, as well as some younger residents who are faced with mental health issues as well. What struck me was how they lived with such lack and how they yet lived joyfully and were able at that time to still embrace each of us with such warmth and welcome. It really touched my heart. And at that time, again, there was still dire need, but over the years that we've been involved, they went from having hopefully one meal to two very, very large meals a day that actually suffice for a third meal. They now have a full garden. We work in partnership with the agronomy program, so they're able to enjoy the fruits and vegetables from their own garden and also even earn a little bit of extra finances with it. During this time also, we were able to build a gazebo where they have large meetings and gatherings, walkways to each of them, new latrines with walkways for their own safety, and indoor plumbing as well as indoor water that they're able to use, showers and faucets within the building. And most recently, we have had electricity. So over the course of all of this time, we've just seen steady improvement in the quality of life that they have.
So Maison Bon Samaritain, the home for the elderly and mentally ill in Grosmorne, it has been amazing over this past decade to see Maison Bon Samaritain evolve and change into a place that is life-giving, that's supportive, that the residents are thoroughly engaged in many different activities. I know there was a time where just the basic needs of the residents were being met, and just barely at that, with the means that the RJMs had. And then Mercy Focus on Haiti came in and said, hey, you know, we can do more. These people deserve more. And that has led to great changes between different staffing, different kind of nursing care, more meals available, different kind of entertainment with parties and Mother's Day and Father's Day celebrations. And it's been wonderful. And upgrades, huge capital upgrades that would not have been possible without Mercy Focus on Haiti, that just provide, you know, safe housing for some of the most vulnerable residents of Grosmorne.
I think we were all a little disturbed around the name of Maison Bon Samaritain at that time. It was Kaipo, and it was the poorhouse, you know. And literally when we first visited it there, you definitely got the sense of abandonment, poverty. But I think in conversation with all of us, the decision was made to try to change the name. And just changing the name to Maison Bon Samaritain made it just more merciful. So those are memorable moments. And I think in 2013, you and I had the experience then of, we were working, trying to collaborate and network with as many as we could. And you and I were able to meet with the board of Maison Bon Samaritain, and to do that work of getting support for it, and working with the sisters of the RJMs, plus the parish and the hospital, and just getting people involved. And that was very, very vital to our success so far in Haiti.
What happened, in my estimation, and what's borne out for me, is the residents started to feel better about themselves because they had a wall. They began to think of themselves
not as the poorhouse, but as Maison Bon Samaritain, as worthy residents of the town.
That was something that was very obvious. You know, they were interested that the person beside them was very comfortable. Simple little porch chairs, but there's a woman there who's blind, very interested that someone would go get her and bring her out so she could share in the fun. And so that's one thing that stands out with that Haitian community. They care for one another.
When I think of the story of Maison Bon Samaritain, many changes in its community and the dignity that is now so obvious in each person. The proverb that came to my mind is "Ça nous baille pauvre, c'est bon Dieu nous prête-il." "Ça nous baille pauvre, c'est bon Dieu nous prête-il," which is translated as "What we give to the poor is what we lend to God."
Thanks, Alex. I also was thinking about the journey from poorhouse to worthy residents of the town. And what a wonderful journey for the residents to know themselves as worthy residents of the town. Another ministry that we share with the Religious of Jesus and Mary is agronomy. And that includes everything agricultural: reforestation, gardening, farming, animal husbandry, water harvesting, and it goes on and on.
You know, it's life-giving. It's a way for people to make an income. It's a way for people to support their families, and it also provides food for so many families. And with the support of Mercy Focus in Haiti, so many programs have been able to be expanded upon. Agronomy technicians and agronomists are supported, so we can have experts teaching the community what the best practices are, how to have the greatest yields. And that is huge. It really is.
One of the hardest things to see in the old days in Haiti was to see the people standing in their doorways or on the street selling huge bags of coal, and knowing that that coal was being made available to them by cutting down and denuding the mountains, the land. And that's all they had. For a long period of time, it seemed like it was the only thing that was being sold, was coal made from the trees, and the mountains became worse and worse. And one storm about maybe 10 years ago, the town halfway between here and Bromorne, they had a flood, a huge heavy rain, and the flood just carried people right down and drowned them because there were no trees to stop it. So to see the forest and to see what those agronomists are doing, and again, I had already seen them. I had attended a couple of their classes, and I just, my educational background, as a teacher, I just love the way they teach the farmers and the way that the farmers are so willing to learn. There's a whole educational piece there that will excite anybody who wants to to see people being empowered as farmers.
Mercy Focus on Haiti has been a tremendous help with the agricultural projects. The sweet potatoes, the people had just about given up on planting sweet potatoes because of the weevils that were eating them or leaving that were destroying the crop. And now the amount of sweet potatoes being produced in our commune is on the rise. And it's thanks to the collaboration with Mercy Focus on Haiti and all of the people who collaborate with Mercy Focus on Haiti.
That really excited us, and we're so pleased to see it off and running, is the Hen House Project. And, you know, Mercy Focus on Haiti provided initial financial support to help buy the first 500 hens, and then it had provided continued support to help with the feed, and as well as some advisory support with helping to get the financials in an organized fashion. And, you know, it wasn't an easy run for those that were working in the hen house. They had, over the past 4 years, had challenges in terms of what they were dealing with. And, you know, disease killed some hens during one season, and they had to start from scratch again. Challenges in buying affordable feed at the quality that they needed, accessing water, but they've done it. And at this point, we're getting monthly reports, and this past March, there were 26,000 eggs were produced. Wow. Can you imagine that? The impact that has from a protein basis to the school kids, to families, and from a local economic development perspective, the women and men who can purchase those eggs and then resell them or make them into sandwiches and sell the sandwiches. But, you know, just it's a stellar example of persistence and what they can do with a good idea and the impact that that's had.
One of my favorite programs of the agronomy is the rainwater harvesting project that we implemented last year with collaboration of community leaders of Beaumont. Many Masons acquired knowledge about ferrocement construction. Now we have over 50 homes and schools that received cisterns. In less than 1 year, those cisterns already start changing life of many families. When we look at so much harvest, let's struggle to have water, as water is life. Another interesting thing is people who receive those cisterns value them, and they're so proud. Sister Kathy, they consider those cisterns as $1,000,000 properties.
That's
Many
great.
people and more want cisterns.
That's good. That's great. You sound like a Sister of Mercy when you talk about water is life, because that's one of our critical concerns. But I also can understand why the women consider this $1 million worth $1 million, these cisterns, because of the hours that they and their children had to walk to the river to get water. So this is really a great project. Well, Mercy, early on, Mercy Focus on Haiti knew what we were learning from connecting with the Haitian people, their strength, their courage, their resilience, and their creativity. We were learning about that, and we knew that needed to be shared with others. So Mercy Focus on Haiti began sponsoring immersion trips. Mercy high schoolers, Mercy University. Are we okay? Okay, Mercy high schoolers and Mercy University students, as well as adults, were available for to be immersed in the day-to-day life and culture of Haiti.
It was in 2014, and it was after Sister Jackie and Sister Pat accepted our offer to partner with them. You and I organized the immersion trip, and there were 16 on Papa's bus. It was the first time that we met Papa and saw the bus, remember, from Matthew 25. And you and I came equipped with all sorts of things. I think we brought like 4 boxes of Juji fruits. And we did immersion work. We did service work in the ways that we were asked to. We cleaned the kitchen at Maison Bon Samaritain, and we repainted it. We met with the leaders of the agronomy program. We met with Sister Pat and Sister Jackie. We did all sorts of things to engage with the community for the first ever time. You know, it took a couple of years for there to be real work for the members of Mercy Focus on Haiti. And I wasn't sure what role I would play, if I would at all, until an annual meeting when someone that I never had met, Sister Mary Sullivan, asked if anyone at the meeting would be willing to answer the telephone when Mercy high schools and universities would call her to go on an immersion experience. And so I raised my hand and I said, I can answer telephones. I can be your telephone operator.
When I initially arrived in Haiti as this 18-year-old girl from Gwinnett Valley, Pennsylvania, I was initially very overwhelmed. I think I was overwhelmed with feelings of sadness, feelings of guilt, and just feeling like, how could I have never known about this place before or ever thought about this place before? But the more time that I spent in Haiti and the more I was able to work with Sister Dale and Sister Jill from Mercy Focus on Haiti and meet so many of the Haitian partners and meet so many of the Haitian people, I realized that day by day, my feelings of sadness and guilt were transformed into feelings of empowerment.
For me, I think it kind of just taught me to live life with a strong purpose. I think that I kind of learned a lot from that trip, and I kind of always remember how much it impacted me.
I recognized how grateful that they were for like everything they have, even though looking at it from an outside perspective, we probably saw like that they didn't have much compared to what we have and how we live, but all of them seemed like so grateful. I'd like to say thank you, Mercy Focus on Haiti, for allowing like such young students to experience a true like life-changing moment at like such a young age, and helping us to grow into the people that we have become today.
I think the one moment that I always remember when I reflect on my time in Haiti was when we were actually visiting one of the women from CLM who was in the process of building a new home for herself. And we were able to meet her and talk to her through a translator. And she showed us her new home that she was constructing. And she was several months into the program. And I remember we were looking at it and it looked great, and we were walking away and I tripped and I was about to completely faceplant on the ground, and she caught me and she grabbed my hand and she held my hand the whole rest of the way down the hill. And she was a mother, and I was in this completely other part of the world, and I was an 18-year-old girl, but I missed my mom. And in that moment, she felt like my mom, and she made me feel safe and she made me feel comfortable. And I was this girl from Pennsylvania who she didn't know and she might never see again in her life, but for those 5 or so minutes when she was holding my hand down the hill, I felt really safe with her. And I think that that's what Mercy feels like. It feels like somebody making you feel safe and somebody making you feel seen. And I think that that's how that woman from CLM made me feel.
Amazing power for the immersion experiences. And just the idea of thinking I have a mom in Haiti. So working with the RJMs was really a formative experience for Mercy Focus on Haiti. And then we came upon another would-be partner, Fonkoze Foundation, and their program entitled Pathway to a Better Life. It seemed that all that we had done in prior to 2016 led us to embrace this program, Pathway to a Better Life. It's an amazing program to empower women and their families to a new life.
Mercy Focus on Haiti has a special place in our hearts. You know, we work with a lot of different partners, funding partners, but we've never quite had an experience like the one we had with Mercy Focus. I couldn't tell you what year it was. We had been committed to doing this program, Chemin La Vie Meilleure, in Haiti's Central Plateau. And it was going to take a long time. It is taking a long time to cover the Central Plateau. But these three women came to see us. I don't know what drove them to do that, but they came to give the program a look. That was Sister Kathy and Sister Mary Healy and Andy Healy. And we were talking about the meeting, the visit late afternoon in the office of Gauthier Dieudonné, who's the founding director of the program. He's now retired. And we didn't really think we should go up to Gaumont because it was a long way from all our work. But these were three really wonderful people, and we weren't going to just say no, because people all over Haiti really need this program. So what Gauthier did was he thought he was being smart. He said, you know, if you can guarantee funding for 2 consecutive groups of 200 families, that's what it would take for us to throw a team all the way up in Gaumont, and you know, for us, the Northwest. That'd be between $750,000 and $800,000. So we thought, these very nice women, we won't hear from them again. And I don't know if it was a month, it might have been less than a month. They informed us they had the money. And so we suddenly realized we were dealing with women that were much more than an initial little glance would allow one to appreciate.
In Mercy Focus on Haiti, Sister Mary Healy came upon this program called Chemin La Vie Meilleure, and it means a pathway to a better life. And it was a program that would take ultra poor women who didn't have housing, didn't have money for food, didn't have a business, didn't have animals, didn't have a garden. I mean, these were the women who basically had a falling down hut, and they were not involved in their community at all. They were the outcast. These ultra poor women were put into a program for 18 months, and they got housing, they got a latrine, they had to build it, they were taught how to build it, they got a filter for water, they got $1 a day for 6 months so they could feed their families. They learned how to do a small business, they learned how to manage money, they opened a bank account, their children began to go to school. They were learning how to be a part of society.
Interesting thing is that the program is on its 3rd cohort in Gaumont. You can not imagine the changes that is taking place in all those families. I mean, this is about 600 families. When you say that 600 families with an average of 5 per family, that's 3,000 people who have changed their lives. And also the surrounding area, how it has influenced the people. Now the CLM members are they have means to spend money. So all the business in the area also, it's good for them, because more people in the area spending money, the better it is for those businesses. And those are the effect of this program, and I'm hoping that it will continue in the Gaumont area. As Sisters of Mercy, or Mercy Focus on Haiti, is celebrating their 10th anniversary, I'm hoping that as working nuns, we will be able to work together for many years to change many lives, because every life we change, can't describe that. There's no way to describe that. But I'm hoping that that's what we'll continue to do, this kind of work, to change the lives of the people. I mean, as God's people, that's what we do.
Before adding a comment to the CLM program, which is an unbelievable program, I would like to share with you about the emerging groups. When we receive them, we see them as guests, but over time, they are not guests. We become friends, looking at ways we could work together to improve life and families and people of Gaumont. This type of program really helps emerging groups to understand there's so much going on outside of the American world. There are so many people who are suffering. We have a responsibility, and our support is needed, as we are all children of God. Another proverb that speaks to me now is "Me en pile, chay palo." Me en pile, chay palo, which means with many hands, work is light. So let's go back to CLM. I usually have tendency to cry and graduation, hearing testimonies. And the last one, some women said that program seemed too good to be true. And final, they gave it a try and they incredibly succeeded. One of them said, now she is a limina, which would mean she's a complete woman. It is a total transformation, starting from nothing, then owning so much.
Yeah, I love that. I want to be a limina myself, a complete person. And isn't that what all of us want, is to be complete and whole? It's pretty amazing how the transformation that takes place in the CLM program.
We hope the prior videos were a good introduction to the ministry and projects. Now, we would like to hear some of our Haitian partners and what they need to say about working with Mercy Focus on Haiti.
Ça fait quelques temps, mais c'est nous apprenons en pile. Nous apprenons que les ou même aider ou doit aider le monde avec cœur. Et nous apprenons surtout que responsabilité pour envers l'autre. C'est surtout ça que m'apprend dans Focus on Haiti.
Moi, je veux dire un gros merci pour Jean qui travaille avec moi, avec l'organisation OPCDGM. Pour Jean qui accueilli le projet, moi, je veux dire un gros merci et puis me dire bon travail et puis me souhaiter une bonne fête.
Merci à vous.
Merci Alex.
Parler des questions de l'eau ou parler de la vie. Et la vie, c'est dans de l'eau joignée et c'est un bagage tout qui cause jounen jodi a gen toute misère à travers pays ya. Mais jounen jodi a avec programme ça nous ouais c'est miséricorde yo vini ensemble avec lui, c'est un projet qui capable aider paysans, aider nous construire la vie. Ça veut dire que ou apé des moun yo ramasser de l'eau parce que de l'eau c'est lui même qui la vie. Ça fait moi même sentir content juste pour me participer avec eux dans un style de programme comme ça.
Moi souhaite yo courage. Moi souhaite yo courage. Moi souhaite yo pour bon Dieu kembe yo. Pour bon Dieu bénir davantage. Pour bon Dieu ba au santé. Parce que le travail qu'il a fait, c'est un travail extraordinaire. C'est bon Dieu seulement qui est capable de récompenser.
Merci.
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 Moi, carrément, dit MFOH, Kembe, Palagé, que bon Dieu continue avec lui, sous lui, dans aide la baille, mais son bon samaritain, ici là dans Haïti, dans le monde.
Et m'a demandé pour bon Dieu toujours mettre même protection ça sur yo et l'amour toujours pour moun surtout pour moun qui dans situation dit misérable yo extrême pauvreté yo pour toujours même l'amour ça.
Je souhaite que le programme continue et parce que moi-même côté m'té à côté me journée aujourd'hui j'ai des bagages différents parce que les programmes n'étaient avant de rentrer dans le programme n'étaient en gens. Pendant que je viens dans le programme, je viens dans l'autre gens. Et je souhaite que le programme continue parce que il y a des gens qui t'a aimé rentrer dans le programme. Peut-être qu'ils ont découvert mon ça.
Le message que je c'est pour être capable toujours aider nous dans le monde, pour aider les gens qui sont dans une situation difficile de sortir de la misère noire. Et je souhaite une bonne fête, bonne continuité avec le travail à faire.
Avec tout cœur et dans l'école là tout, moi souhaiter une bonne fête et que bon Dieu continue à faire route avec eux et puis bah yo plus support, plus capacité pour être capable de réfléchir pour toujours continuer à aider.
Pour que m'apprendre de eux, m'apprendre de amour pour eux. Et amour, il n'est pas témoigner pour le monde seulement. Okay. Mais témoigner pour chaque bagaille qui est présent dans la nature.
Bon, je félicite et je suis ensemble avec eux pour nous célébrer ensemble parce que c'est un plaisir pour moi. C'est un. Bon, je ne sais pas comment pour me manifester contentement. C'est que si nous avons des bagages, nous avons plein de petits bois qui les joies et chaque fois, regardez, nous dit ok, que bois ça les joies, nous avons gagné depuis 2021 pendant notre fête de 10e anniversaire.
That really brings me to tears. I can hardly wait. I wanna hug that tree of joy. I can't wait to get there. It's really great. So, and how they talk about their work as the work of God. And that's what Catherine McCauley said about her work as well.
It was really nice of all interviewees to contribute to the achievement of this event. This made me feel happy. And Mercy Focus on Haiti highly respects our partners in Haiti. Collaboration, listening, and trust are what make us in Mercy Focus on Haiti who we are as we follow our mission and Catherine McCauley's.
Thanks, Alex.
Many years.
Okay, yeah. Now, in preparing for our anniversary, we interviewed over 40 people. And needless to say, we were not able to include everybody in the video, but we do have some pearls of wisdom. Invite you to listen to these.
I went to Haiti, to the town of Lacaille, and as happens to many people, I fell in love with Haiti. And it was in 1984.
Catherine never thought it was her work. She always thought it was God's work. And I think the members of Mercy Focus on Haiti feel the same way. We are being privileged to participate in God's work. God will carry it on, for as long as it's needed.
And then we went to Fonkoze, and we heard about the program called Pathway to a Better Life. And they invited us to go visit Gautier and his staff in the Central Plateau. So we took ourselves there and we got into his little crowded office, and we're listening to him tell the story of the program and how the attention to women was significant in that program. But as I listened to him describe the program, and he talked about their work as ministry, I knew that I thought I was listening to Catherine McCauley, and I knew this was the program for us. This is what we had come to learn.
When we were talking, I was talking to them, and they were talking about their founders, the founder of Sisters of Mercy, and she was classified as walking nuns. I mean, in our program, we do a lot of walking. So we consider ourselves also as walking nuns. So I'm hoping that as walking nuns, we will be able to walk together for many years to change many lives. Because every life we change, can't describe that. There's no way to describe that.
It's a pretty amazing that 10 years have gone by. I can remember when Sister Betty Scanlon first mentioned it to me, and I'd learned already by that point, you don't argue with Sister Betty Scanlon. I mean, you might as well get in line and say, okay, sister, what do you want done? And she was pulling together the meeting of the famous meeting where everybody sat around the table and discussed it. It's hard to believe the 10 years has slipped by, and I have met such wonderful people. Sisters of Mercy, whom I'd not met before, lay persons who are volunteering. I could go on and give you 10 minutes of names, but I'd be afraid of forgetting somebody.
Many times when you work in a situation where one group has resources and another group needs resources, it gets to be a little uneven, and it can actually even stunt the leadership. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think with Focus on Haiti, there's been a real opportunity for leadership to emerge. And leadership in terms of not deferring to the North or to the religious, saying very honestly, that idea is not going to work. Yeah. Or before we do that, we need to do these other things. That's what you need in a partner.
I mean, clearly, you have made a difference. The programs, the initiatives, the responses to women and children, to earth-related issues, a significant contribution that does reflect, our own critical concerns and our values, and a commitment to our value of collaboration and to do things in partnership that, where we take the lead from others who are closer to the experience, who are there day in and day out, and we listen well to the people of Haiti themselves, so that our response has an integrity.
At every juncture with Mercy Focus on Haiti, God provided what was needed. When we needed to organize our finances, God gave us Colleen Maher and Kathy Mullen. When we needed to do more development, God gave us Marion Grimes. When we needed help, we were getting too big for our britches and we needed more facilitation, God gave us Kathy Thornton. When we needed to fundraise so we could support CLM, God gave us people like AJ Healy, like all of the wonderful donors that we had. So I so believe that this ministry is of God.
They're remarkably resilient. And I have learned by sad experience that they know a whole lot more about what works for them than we do. And they're remarkably patient with us.
I think one of the things that struck me initially was the partnership model. And I continue to be really impressed with that. I continue to be impressed with how Mercy Focus on Haiti, I think, is a good model for future ministry efforts in terms of how it really involved a variety of Sisters of Mercy and associates, friends, co-workers, in really bringing their skills together in a very nimble way to make change. Not a lot of overhead.
Certainly wish them and me a happy anniversary and many, many more years here in Gros Morne and the surrounding areas, that we can spread mercy throughout this land.
We're at that chapter, met in the hallway and said, what do you think? We need to gather some people. We need to sit down. We need to look at the words, the inspired words that came out of this meeting, and we need to say, how can we collectively, as a grassroots organization, make a difference by the words from this sacred document? And so Betty said, Dale, put a note on the bulletin board, and I did. And we all met for lunch, and that was the start of this dream. Thank God Mercy Focus on Haiti has matured and grown thanks to the support of so many people who have come along, like you, Kathy and Elizabeth, people who have joined us on the journey. The journey no longer is a few of us who had the dream, but many of us who continue the dream and the work for the Haitians.
I wish you don't stop. Don't stop. I know the life is not easy. You could find difficulty. Maybe someone doesn't understand you. Maybe someone could say bad thing to you. Please don't be discouraged. Continue. Then someday we will have to celebrate our 50 years. I'm waiting for this.
Don't stop, continue. How can we not? Let's all be walking nuns, walking together with our brothers and sisters in Haiti.
That's right. Once again, happy 10th anniversary, Mercy Focus on Haiti. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to all donors. Thank you to those who did an amazing job preparing the videos, especially
Amen.
Kathy
Amen.
Gauthier, Sister Betty Scanlon, Sister Dale Jarvis, Elizabeth Hassan, and all members of the anniversary committee. Please visit our website, mercyfocusonhaiti.org, our Facebook page and YouTube, Mercy Focus on Haiti, to know more about us. See you soon for another fun time.
Thanks, Alex. As our anniversary event draws to a close, we will end as we began in prayer. This final blessing is for our Haitian sisters and brothers, for the many people that are engaged in Mercy Focus on Haiti ministries, both here and in Haiti, and for all who have enabled our ministries throughout these amazing 10 years, the Sisters of Mercy, and also the Mercy Focus on Haiti Governing Council. Please enjoy the additional photos and memories, and we invite you to enter the chat room to share your thoughts with us. Happy anniversary, Mercy Focus on Haiti, and let us pray.
Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. The Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. As we receive, we agree. Amen. 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 His favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and their children, and their children.